Clubbing in Chicago, the green network of work-life dichotomy. The research on Chicago as the context of design has been started by looking over lobbies, well-designed parts in Chicago that missed the attention which deserved. Old postcards are valuable mediations that reveal the storyline of these spaces and a glimpse of Chicago's architecture through time. The postcards depicting lobby space in residential buildings and hotels were mostly collected to compare their different changes over time. These spaces had some specific features in that period, such as the use of arcs, furniture, mezzanine, lobbies with double height, skylight, natural light, and lights in these spaces. The other mediation which is helpful in research on lobbies, space qualities, and quality of living in them is the cinematography, especially those based on historical studies, like Public Enemies directed by Michael Mann, The Untouchables by Brian De Palma. Here are some famous lobbies on postcards in comparison with their unused condition in different movies. And Road to Perdition by Sam Mendes in comparison with Lexington Hotel's lobby as original place of movie's story. Based on the historic studies and the current situation of lobbies, some important qualities counted for them, such as being flexible, a non-programmed function, being bright spaces, being tall spaces, and column-free spaces. This is also a necessity to study Chicago on an urban scale from a historical perspective. In 1909, Daniel Burnham and Edward Bennett published The Plan of Chicago, a seminal work that had a major impact not only on the city of Chicago's future development, but also on the burgeoning field of urban planning. The plan used rendering to convey the possible scenarios for a rapidly growing city. These are some drawings from Burnham's planning that show the general system of boulevards and parks existing and proposed in Chicago. And this is the proposed civic center in Burnham planning for Chicago. There are various interesting maps of Chicago from historical to contemporary documents. Some maps exist showing the cityscape in different ways, highlighting certain elements like new transit lines, parks, boulevards, and modern aerial views. One of such maps is Chicago's Park Boulevard by Willis Champion. The map indicates numerous parks in the city as well as detailed depiction of major roads, rivers, and surrounding towns. Beside the Chicago's Park Boulevard, there is a case study from Iran in the city of Isfahan. Shah Square is a successful urban project located in the central part of Isfahan. Structures of different purposes and architecture surround this square. Together with the main bazaar of Isfahan, they comprise a huge complex to explore. It's a magnificent and unique monument in the world which has a remarkable reputation among tourists. This complex has religious, political, economic, and recreational functions and is always a shining example of the beauty of Iranian and global art. Shah Square is a part of an urban complex with two great squares joined by bazaar. Many gatherings are held in this square for various ceremonies and occasions. 3 historic buildings are preserved and reprogrammed as a tourist attraction. The Great Imperial Complex in the square reprogrammed as Art and Architecture School. The square is surrounded by a two-story row of shops and consists of a collection of buildings that meet the needs of the city, and cluster yards with similar space structure as the main square are supporting the project by hosting secondary functions. The city of Isfahan is like Chicago in terms of urban structure. Both urban structures are based on grid and are considered densely populated cities. Rescoville is one of the abandoned lands located in the surrounding of Loop in downtown Chicago. This site is bordered by Roosevelt Road, Clark Street, and the riverfront. It's now undeveloped, occupied by homeless people. This wide, overgrown lot is still the home for an increasing number of people. There has been considered a zoom in to this site to experiment the possibility of creating a new member in Chicago's Park Boulevard. Also, there is a bike route in the center of Chicago which overlaps with Chicago's Park Boulevard. It can provide an excellent opportunity for a pedestrian-friendly improvement in this area. Rescoville site is close to Chicago's Loop, directly connected to Douglas Park and South Loop. Park Boulevard has a weak connection with Chicago's Loop, and the scale is enormous. By adding Rescoville as a new member in Park Boulevard chain, the big loop will divide into two smaller loops, which helps the pedestrian-friendly idea by reducing walkable space. This new member is aimed to create a harmony of open and indoor spaces, which includes different functions such as co-working spaces, commercial functions, clubs, offices, startups, and classes. This project includes three major parts: the ring, the lobbies, and the square. In the square, the green spaces and pavements are designed such that they can be divided into smaller parts. The green space of the square is on the same level as the pavements. There is nothing to distinguish them except for their coverage with different materials. The square at the center of the complex is designed to be very flexible, and it can be used for different purposes such as ceremonies, sport competitions, recreational leisure activities, local markets, and different exhibitions. The ring is designed at two levels. On the ground floor, it mostly focuses on commercial spaces and the places that are in unmediated connection with people. On the upper floor, there are mostly offices, clubs, and low-cost places for startups. Along this ring, the lobbies are designed as the main intermediary between the spaces of the project and the urban environment. Lobbies are elevated higher than the ring. They are doubled height and tripled height and provide an open space without any extra parts. These lobbies play the role of a welcoming space and entrance gate. Most of the walls are curtain walls so that they can provide a bright and fluid space. The placement of lobbies enhances the intelligibility and the addressability of the complex and changes it to a combination of proper parts related to each other. In order to create columnless and tall lobbies, a steel structure with customized profiles designed. This steel structure has two customized members that are columns and beams. The structure elements are positioned to create open corners and non-interrupt elevated trusses. The lobbies are closed off with curtain walls that emphasize the structure and space qualities with their vertical divisions. Each lobby of the second floor has one truss facing the square and connected to the truss line on the second floor. In fact, it offers direct access to the second floor spaces. On the ground floor, the accessibility is provided by the porch line that is in accordance with the climate condition of Chicago. Since the winters of Chicago are cold and the summers are hot, it's very important to control the climate condition in the design. Regarding the climate conditions, the porch casts a shadow while being a rain shelter. And this site has an additional porch that provides a direct connection with the water for the ground floor facing the adjacent river. However, the edge of the river is accessible only by the lobbies adjacent to the water. Other spaces are not directly connected to the water. Thank you for your consideration.